Hello, hello, hello. We're back live. I never stream anymore, but we're live. Man, what a game that was. What a game that was from ye old Chelsea. A win versus Liverpool at home is never going to go amiss. It really is never going to go amiss. Um, you know, I said at the beginning of the season, and I've said pretty consistently, Champions League is the goal. That's the whole goal. It's nothing but the goal. I've projected Chelsea out. Charlie is not Bad Rabbit. What up, Bad Rabbits? You'll always be a bad rabbit to me. I kind of projected Chelsea out to 67 points, 67 to 70 the whole year. Chelsea have 3 games left. They've got 63. 67 to 70 is looking pretty spot on, my friends. It's looking pretty spot on. And it's very funny. We were told Chelsea would finish 12th. We were told they wouldn't hit the points total from last year. We were told this. We were told that. Team's not bad. Coach isn't that bad. And, I don't know. I also, if you notice, I updated the you can't. I guess my cursor doesn't go up there, but I updated the road to the Champions League to 69 instead of 70 because as the table is now, the highest. I guess 69 technically doesn't do it. I guess it is still technically 72, but 69 will do it. Actually, no, because the highest Villa can get to is 69, and Chelsea play both Forest and Newcastle. So Forest could presumably get to 72, but it would mean Chelsea only get to 66. So I think it's actually 67. We'll get it, but whatever. We'll see. Anyways, this is where we are. Chelsea beat Liverpool 3-1. They lined up with the exact same team that they played against Everton. I am a bad streamer because I did not prepare. I wasn't even going to stream, but I figured I haven't streamed in a while. It was a fun game. It's raining outside and it's kind of miserable. I also tore my ACL last week, so I can't walk and I can't go outside and do anything. So I'm very bored. So I figured I would stream because why not? Note to friends, don't tear your ACL. It's not fun. Don't do it. So I got a big old leg brace on. I can't move, but it is what it is. Yeah, so Chelsea lined up the exact same way they did against Everton. They, again, Lavia into midfield, Caicedo at right back. He inverts in possession. Enzo gets high. The difference between this game and the Everton game is that Palmer was the right 10 and Enzo Fernandez was the left 10 instead of it being flipped. This worked way better today. It worked really, really, really well. Chelsea's first goal is... we see when Chelsea have the ball a lot when they play this way, right? Is you see a lot of a diagonal movement outside of the block from the double tens. Okay. What did I do? I was playing men's league. It was a men's league final. I scored a brace, and in the second half, I was running, and I was going to close the keeper down, and I went to change direction when he passed it to the center back, and I just crumpled over my knee, and it was very clear that it was an ACL. So yeah, that's what happened. Thank you for the nice messages. I am still tentatively planning to be at the final game of the season in Nottingham and at the Conference League final. But if I have to have my surgery before then, I might not go on my trip. So we'll see. We'll see what the surgeon says. But yeah, so when we see Chelsea build like this, so Liverpool defend 4-2-4 is how they press. and they press with a very aggressive line because they have monstrous center backs who can do like the most insane shit you've ever seen. And so what we see a lot is the 10s make diagonal movements outside of the block. So instead of having, like, because you don't have fullbacks to stretch them, instead of bringing the winger low when you want to play around, and then you get the 8 into the channel, which is like pretty common. That's how most teams handle stuff like that. What we saw instead, and we've seen all year, is the winger stays high, and then the 10 comes out wide. So that when you play around, you have a much better passing player here, but B, you also have like your running guys are still there, and it opens up a whole bunch of stuff where like, oh, does this player follow you and you can go here and attack central, or does like the center back come to you and you can go into the channel for the 9? Like if we think about Brighton early in the season where we smashed them and everybody's like, oh, Chelsea should play on the counter. Chelsea didn't play on the counter that much in that game. A huge amount of their chances were Cole Palmer doing this movement here and then just hitting them into the channel for Jackson because the center back would follow him, and then you get a 1v1 here. So that's like the movement. If you asked me like what movement do you associate with the Enzo Maresca time at Chelsea, it's that movement of the 6-6, 10, and the 10 moves diagonally low to fullback spots. It's like the single most common thing that happens. And the first goal today is Chelsea are keeping kind of settled possession, and Palmer goes to make his movement out. And I can't remember like how the players are arranged, how Lavia gets there to do this, but it's like Caicedo's here. It's like a weird moment. And Palmer's going to make his movement out and then immediately doubles back, and Lavia splits him, and Chelsea get into an amazing action. I have been very Romeo Lavia skeptical. I've been so Romeo Lavia skeptical. I said at Southampton, he did not show very much to me. I have said that defensively, he has left a lot to be desired. I have said that like I don't see the high-level ceiling for him. I've been very negative. The last 2 games and the Spurs 4-2 game, he has been very, very, very good. Very, very, very good, particularly in possession. It makes Chelsea's ability to play through. And again, what was like, let's not lie about what the team was. It's a rotated Liverpool team, but it's not like they put out the kids they played against Plymouth Argyle. Like, it's still, okay, not first choice left back and not Konate, but I think Konate's injured. So like, not, and Joe Gomez is injured. So like, not a crazy rotation back here. The big one is like Endo and Elliott instead of McAllister and Szoboszlai, and no Luis Diaz. But like, it was not a garbage Liverpool team, and Chelsea were able to play through pretty comfortably, pretty repeatedly in the first half, and I thought Lavia was very, very, very good. Zero incompleted passes and 0 turnovers. Like, sometimes, right? Sometimes I think we get a little bit in the weeds about like players have to be so progressive. And I think that's like vaguely true. But there is a tremendous amount of value in having a defensive midfielder who literally never turns it over. So like 23 for 23, couple nice line breakers, never turns it over in the press, like tremendously valuable to have for your team. So I thought that was really, really nice from Lavia. And I thought Enzo Fernandez had a great box crashing game. He gets 2 shots in the box. He scores a goal. He has a header that, like, on another day goes in. I thought he had a really, really solid game. And I think Palmer going back to the right half space, that I thought today was the best Palmer has played in a very long time. I thought he was really good as a creative passer. I think one of the things that I particularly enjoyed is that a lot of times, um, what it has felt like for the past couple months is that when Palmer gets the ball behind the midfield but in front of the back line, he is very indecisive. And like what a lot of people have said that is like, oh, Palmer has to play on instinct. He doesn't need to think. And I think that's not true. I think that very much infantilizes the things that Palmer does well. Like, I think when you say things like that, right, like there's an implication that Palmer is a dumb player. I don't think Palmer is a dumb player at all. I think there are things that Palmer does that I really don't like. For example, one of the things I thought he did really well today is when he would show diagonally low, if he got it and gave it back, he would come back inside instead of just staying there, right? Because like the whole point of the movement is you pull someone with you, or there's like indecision in the opponent that when you get it of like, who steps to me? And he was able to play Neto, he was able to play him behind, like he had a couple dangerous moments. But it came from doing the action repeatedly. I thought he was, the big thing today, when I say like decisive, is that a lot of times Palmer would receive in the pocket, and instead of driving kind of into a channel where like it's going to end up with a blocked shot from outside the box, right? Like that's the thing we see all the time. He would say, I have time and space, and I can put Neto into a really good 1v1 against Costas Tsimikas. I'm going to play it now. And he'd play it, and then he'd go get into the box. And if you look at the first goal, if you look at exactly the first goal, like let's see if I can pull up exactly the first goal today. Let's see. I don't know where it is. Let me see if I can find the first goal. Because, like, I want to show you where the players are. Kwanzaa, no. It's United, no. No. I really should have prepped this, but it's okay. Here we go. Okay, so like, my stream's gonna get done for this, but it's okay. You watch. So like, Palmer, how often would we have seen this season that he would try and drive this gap and then go for something inside, which was fine. Honestly, maybe a good decision, but he makes the decision early. So now when the ball goes wide, Chelsea end up in this situation where you have the crosser, you have a 9 driving the front post, which I have complained about so much, right? Like let's create the situation. You have the 9 driving the front post. You have Palmer filling the cutback space, right? Like very crucially, he's on the edge of the box. He's not here. Very crucially, he's on the edge of the box. He's not here. You have Enzo Fernandez late arriving, and you have Noni Madueke driving the back post. And where's the other center back? The other center back is dealing with the ball. His net is here. And so you end up, yes, exactly. Palmer going early means he can crash the box, and that really messes Endo up. It's exactly what happens. And so you end up now with, you fill all the valuable spaces. You have the near post, you have a guy in the middle, you have a guy arriving for the late one, and you have the guy at the back post. And like, it is an immensely good chance because he decides super early. And that is tremendously valuable. Tremendously valuable. So it is what it is. So that I think was really, really nice to see from him in particular. And then like, he was going past guys in wide areas that I thought was really nice. Like he absolutely rinsed Tsimikas. He rinsed Connor Bradley for the post. Like, thought he was really good. The other thing to talk about is Noni on the left. We talked about this a little bit. I think there's a lot of benefits to it. I thought today people were like, Noni was great. I don't think Noni had a great game. I thought he was really, really, really frustrating. Their goal is 1,000% his fault. Like there is nothing else to say about it. It is 1,000% his fault. He is marking Van Dijk and just like ignores him. And is like, yeah, actually, I'm not going to block you or pick you up. I'm just going to let you get a free run. Yeah, that was immensely frustrating. That shot when Palmer hit the post gave the keeper the eyes to make him think it was a cross. Super smart, man. Keepers. This is what I thought Sancho should have done when he gets his like 1v1 right here. Is like, obviously Alisson's going to cheat back post. Just rip it high near post. Hit it like head height where he was standing and you score. If you think about like the Hazard 1v1 goal against Man City in the 3-1 win under Conte, right? So that I think is like a really, really nice one. The thing with Noni on the left is, as Will Southwell here says, Madueke has been a physical winger, but I think his running's become more powerful. Seems very hard to stop. I think the thing with him when he plays on the left versus on the right is when he's on the right, he is so one-minded about getting to his left foot that it's very easy to, like, if you think about it with Neto, right? It's very easy for you to take a body position like this and be like, yeah, I want you to come this way. And they're running away from the net. But when Noni's on the left, I think the thing that works really well for him is that if you take this body position and he's on his left foot, right? So like if you look at the little defender's arms, he's just going to jink you to the outside and drive line. And it's over. Like, you're not going to beat him to the line. He's very quick. And so what ends up happening is you end up with defenders who either try to get him outside and onto his foot, or they do this, but they give him too much space because they don't want to beat line. And so he just keeps driving at this gap. And he gets all these really, really high quality final third and box entries. Like, he's very, very hard to stop. The problem is that, like, when he gets here, he's so one-footed. It's like he doesn't really have the option to shoot on his right foot, and he's not a great, like, passer with his right foot. What I would love to see more of from him is when you get to the spot, shape like you're going to hit it with your right foot, and can you hit little reverse passes and just, like, slip someone? Because those are not that difficult to do technically. And it really relies on you drawing people to you. But I think, like, he had when the ball was at his feet, I thought he was okay. I think the thing with Noni that really frustrates me is compare him to Salah, right? And, like, I think Salah should be the template that Noni is looking at. Like, I think he should be looking and saying, I want to score 20 goals a season, and I want to be one of the best attacking wingers in the league. I don't think he's ever going to be that good, but that's, to me, like, the template player for him. And if you watch Salah, I thought Marc Cucurella had an excellent game today. Excellent game defensively. Salah gets the ball, and every time, it does not matter what happened the last time. It does not matter whether you bring a winger. It does not matter whether there's a six coming. It does not matter. I'm going, and 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 I'm going. And he's relentless. But you see with Noni, like, Noni will have a good run, and he'll have a good run, but nothing will come of it. And then they'll break, and then he'll take his time getting back into the structure, and then they'll need him, and then, like, oh, he's offside, and then he's mad about the offside, and then, like, okay, he's, like, kind of participating in the block, and he'll get played around, and then he's mad that he got played around, and he's like, okay, and then the next time he gets the ball, he turns it over, and then because he turned it over the next time, he's like, I'm going to spin him behind, but he doesn't even really commit to spinning him behind. And now all of a sudden it's been 12 minutes and Noni's had one touch. And, like, that to me is the thing from the development side of his game that I'm like, we need more there. We need way more there. That you have to be relentless. You have to be relentless. So that I think is the thing. Ninja Gecko on the train back from the bridge. Atmosphere was electric. I thought the crowd was very good, man. I thought one of the things I really loved was the last 10 minutes. Chelsea concede, they're a little bit under the cosh. The players are tired, they're defending pretty deep, and the crowd goes on, like just total nothing. There was no moment to activate them, just like a very big come on Chelsea, come on Chelsea, come on Chelsea. And like very clearly the players got an extra step, and then it's Caicedo wins and they're out the other way. And it's like that like lift is real. That's 100% a real thing. And I thought the crowd was very, very good today. Why is Noni marking Van Dijk? So like what? Let's see if I can find the Van Dijk one to show you how Chelsea were defending their corners today, because he's not really marking him. He's what we would call a blocker. I don't know if you know what a blocker is. Can we talk about Caicedo? We're absolutely going to talk about Caicedo, who I didn't think had a great game when he played right back, but I thought he was very good when he came back into midfield. All right, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to find it. The way Chelsea defend their set pieces is very heavy on zonal players that are free to go win and to clear space, in particular for Sanchez to be impactful to claim crosses. Like that is like a big thing that Chelsea do. Okay, and it's smart. Sanchez, for his many flaws, very good cross taker, like very active cross taker. But what that often means is you have smaller guys like Enzo and Cucurella and Madueke. Today it was often Madueke and Cucurella. Is if Van Dijk starts out here, he starts far away from goal, you're not going to move like Chalobah out to mark him, because it opens up space for the delivery and like other more dangerous things can happen. Like one of the things that happened is like Van Dijk gets a free header from like 12 yards out in the first half. No, at the beginning of the second half. And it's like, you're like, oh, he's totally free. But he's like 12 yards away from goal. Like it has to be such an amazing header that you're like, I don't know, whatever. It's not that big a deal. But what these blocking players have to do is, your job as Marc Cucurella, or in this case, Noni Madueke, is you need to deny his ability to get to the spot he wants to get to. Nobody is expecting Madueke to beat Van Dijk in the air. All they are expecting him to do is to delay his run enough and bump him enough and make him go the long way around, or make him go like out of his path just enough that he can't get to where the delivery is. Like you look at it, Van Dijk gets there, he arrives perfectly between zonals, like free header, it's a great header, blah, 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 blah. If Madueke just bumps him or like gets in the way a little bit, like he doesn't get there at all. At all. And so like people want to complain about, oh, the set pieces are so bad. Chelsea have been excellent on defensive set pieces this year. I'm pretty sure by XGA, they're the second best team in the league on defensive set pieces. So, like, give your balls a tug. Like, the set pieces are so not a problem. But it's, again, like, people see a set piece goal go in against, and they're like, the set pieces are a problem. But it's like, if you take a step back and you look at the whole season, Chelsea have given up very few set piece goals all year. And like they see, I can't remember what game it was, Everton or something. We get 14 corners and we don't score. And they're like, the set pieces are a problem. And it's like they get like 7 shots in the box of set pieces. Like, it's relax. Are they as good as Arsenal and Liverpool and Brentford? No, absolutely not. Do I think they're like the 7th or 8th best set piece team after being the 20th best set piece team last year? Yes, I do. I think it's legitimately huge improvement on that end. Still not great, but it's good. Like they are a firmly positive expected goal differential team on set pieces this year, which is like pretty big. I think even if you look at set piece XG today, 0.05. I'm trying to think what one that is. I feel like there was a blocked Neto chance that was like not bad. Oh, I clicked on exactly the right bubble. I'm incredible. Yeah, so that I think is It is what it is. It's not a super big deal to me. Can we talk about Caicedo? So Caicedo started the game at right back after Lavia went off. I think I'm torn on the Lavia sub because I thought he was starting to look leggy like 10 minutes earlier. I thought he could have gone off earlier. But also you kind of do have to stretch him and like see how much he has. Because like how else is he ever going to get to 90 minutes fit? But like I thought he could have come off 10 minutes earlier for Reece James. Excuse me. But Caicedo goes into midfield, immediately improves things defensively. I don't think he had a great game in possession. But the stuff he does defensively, man, is frankly ridiculous. Like 0 of 2 tackles because one of them is a foul. 1 interception, 5 clearances, 10 defensive actions, 5 recoveries, 7 out of 10 duels won. Like, the guy just covers so much ground. so much ground. Yes, you're right. It was Gusto who came instead of James first. That was interesting. Lord Flacco, shin kicker, though. He's a shin pad kicker, man. Don't you know? He's a shin pad kicker. Lucky Liverpool rest of the midfield, otherwise he would have been special. I don't know, maybe. It's hard to say. Like, I think so. I've said a thing that I've said this year, and I still think is true, is that this Chelsea team, for their many positive results, do not have a statement win. Like, they don't have a result and a performance that at the end of the season you were going to go look back and be like, oh man, like what a game that was. Like it all came together. Like you can say like Wolves, but Chelsea didn't play that well against Wolves. And also it's Wolves. It's not a good enough team for a statement win. Like Pochettino's last year are like the 6-0 against Everton and West Ham. But then it's like the 4-3 win against United, where like again they didn't really play that well, but because of the situation, it's like a thing. And the draw and the 4-4 draw, and like there was a theme. Whereas you look at this year, and I think for Chelsea, they haven't had that like statement win. And I think because Liverpool have just won the title, and because they just won the title, and because they kind of rotated, I think this will not qualify as a statement win. Like, I don't think people will look back and be like, hey, we smashed Liverpool 3-1. I think Chelsea played well enough that if they hadn't rotated and hadn't just won the title, people would say this was a statement win. I thought Chelsea were pretty damn good in this game. On both ends. On both ends, I thought they were legitimately quite good. Like, if the Van Dijk header doesn't go in, I think this probably ends 3-0. And the last, like, 15 minutes are calm, or the last 10 minutes or whatever it is are calm, where Liverpool, I think, were a little bit on the beach by the end. But, you know, like, it's a pretty damn big result. And so if we look at, like, the chasing pack stuff from last year, Villa beat Fulham, so that's fun. They lost to City, is that correct? Right? Villa lost to City. They did lose to City. I gotta get better at keeping this thing up to date. And Forest haven't played Palace yet. And Chelsea go another 2 points better from last year, which means we should finish with 69, which is pretty fun. Newcastle draw Brighton, which is very much 2 points dropped for them. Also, if we want to talk about this Brighton game, that penalty. So first off, Newcastle get 2 penalties VAR'd off. One is outside the box. The other one is a clear dive. I don't know how the referee's given the clear dive, because it's a clear dive. Then Brighton don't get a penalty. That is like the stone, like brick and mortar stone wall. And then Newcastle get a pen at the end because Ayari's an idiot. He just sticks his hand out to block the shot for no reason. It's not even going in. It's like very lucky to have a point on that one. And that's not right. That's not right at all. There we go. So, I mean, if you look, what do we got on the old projections? Chelsea pull away a little bit with a win today. I think if Forest lose to or drop points to Palace, I think we'll be pretty fine. Sky said it was 67%. The bookies and stuff won't have updated yet, but it's probably. I'm missing a result for Newcastle. What am I missing? I'm missing Palace, which they won. I am. Oh, there we go. Big deal. So, yeah, I think it's 2/3 is probably a good number. I think that's probably a fair number. But it is what it is, man. That's the reality. The game's the game, as they say. I'll be curious to add. I have not added in this match to it yet. The Liverpool game, but it's gonna be fun. If Chelsea get Champions League, it's the Fulham game. I'm gonna remember, similar to the United game last year. Yeah, maybe. It's not the same though, because it's Fulham. Like, it's just, it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit like that. You know what I mean? But I think that's a fair one to remember. I think the fun thing about beat United, don't lose the other two, we should get it. That would put you on 68. It would put Forest on a maximum of 70. It depends. It depends. I think right now, if you look at the Premier League fixtures, I think you will end up in a place that, if I go to the Premier League, I think you will end up in a place where you will go into the last day probably only needing a draw. I think that's the most likely path now. Because, like, you look at it, what happens between Forest and Palace? That's a draw. They have 61. You have 63. City, I think, are gone because they'll beat Southampton. Like, I think they're clear. Villa, I think, are out of it on the bottom side. So, like, maybe, but, like, they play Bournemouth. I don't know. Like, you draw that game, it's probably over for you. So then it's between Newcastle, Chelsea, Forest. Forest beat Leicester. They're on 64 with 2 remaining. Then it's like, well, if you draw, you're on 64 with 2 remaining. Newcastle are on 64 with 2 remaining. That's pretty tight. Then you go to the next match week. You play United on Friday. Also, whoa, that's a weird... Ew, I did not realize there was a Friday kickoff. I don't like that at all. So you play United on Friday. You win that, you go to 67. Forest, West Ham. It's away. West Ham have been pretty terrible. I think most likely Forest win that, but, like, you never know. I look at it and I'm like, stylistically, West Ham defend pretty deep. Like, you could. You could. And then Newcastle play Arsenal away. Like, if that's a loss, if they lose to Arsenal, all of a sudden the door is, like, wide open. Wide open. Because now it's 64 or 67, 64. And then you go into the final day. And, like, you go into if that happened, there is a world where you could go into the final day and Chelsea and Forest could intentionally draw each other and Newcastle could be out. Can you imagine if that happened? Oh, that's a fun scenario. That's a fun scenario. You could end up if Chelsea draw Newcastle, Forest beat West Ham, Chelsea beat United, Newcastle lose to Arsenal. Chelsea Forest could go into the final day knowing a draw. If Arsenal lose to Liverpool and Newcastle, if Arsenal lose to Newcastle and Liverpool, they're also on 67 on the final. Hold on. Now we have, yeah, but they play Southampton, so it's not going to matter. That's less fun. That's less fun. I like my scenario where Chelsea and Forest can do a 0-0 draw in the final day and boot the Saudis out. That would be miraculous. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? That's, oh my god, yeah, but imagine Southampton played Arsenal on the final day. Southampton played Arsenal on the final day, and they have to take a point to beat the to not be Derby, and so like they're really up for it instead of it being a dead rubber. Oh, there's so many messes. I told you this is gonna be so fun. This is so fun. Do I see left wing and striker a priority much more than the defense in the summer? I would argue the only profile in defense we lack is a proper left back that overlaps. Chilwell's still there. Has Chilwell been playing for Palace as well? Like I feel like I have not paid attention to them at all. Ben Chilwell, FB ref. Ben Chilwell, 139 minutes, and he's like not really playing. Yikes, that kind of sucks. He hasn't played in 3 weeks. I wonder if they're just like, yeah, we're not going down, we're not going up. There's no point in playing you anymore. Yeah, wow, that would be fun. That would be really really fun. I do think strikers are a priority. Like I think now, look, like I've been very pro Jackson, but I think it's very clear at this point he's a little bit hot and cold. Um, he's a little bit hot and cold, and he can come in and out of games at times, and he like he can't play every game at a super high level for a whole season. I think that's fine. So like I think for the summer my priority would be to get a striker as good as Nico, and then if you make Champions League, right? Like if you make Europa League, I don't think you need to. If you make Champions League, though, I think you go get another very good striker, and you always have one to play. And if you're chasing games, you can bring on a second one and be really aggressive. Like I think that's the move long term for this. And so like whether you want to do Osimhen or it's probably going to be Delap or whatever, I don't really care. I mean, I'd rather it not be Delap, but I think that's probably the most valuable. I think the other ones that I like, are, yeah, like it's a big long list, to be honest with you. Um yeah, Osimhen is my number one, but there's some other guys in there that could be useful. Like even Jonathan David, I wouldn't be mad about Jonathan David on a free. Um the summer's going to be really interesting. Like again, I'm waiting to do, I don't want to talk about transfers too much, and I don't want to do all this transfer stuff because until I know, like, so at Chelsea right now, I can tell you that their recruitment staff are 100% doing a recruitment plan that for one is like we make the Champions League and one is we make Europa League. And they're not going to look the same. They're not going to look the same. David agreed with Inter. I don't think that's the case. He's demanding higher wages than Thuram, but I don't think he's agreed with Inter Milan. I won't say what I was gonna say. Yeah, I won't. I won't say what I think about Jonathan David's contract situation. I'll just say that like he's gonna get paid and appropriately for his skills, and I would be quite surprised if he ended up in England. That's what I'll say. Um, yeah, like there's a whole bunch of guys, but I think there's a real like divergence of plans where like one is Champions League, one is Europa League, and they don't look the same. Like to me, you make Europa League like the lap. Why are you getting the lap? Like play Giu and Shim and whatever. But if you make Champions League, like those guys are not ready to play Champions League games, and they're also probably not ready to play Premier League games. So now you need to get a guy who can play with Jackson. So I think that's the big one. But for me, in terms of like, I want to do a lot of transfer stuff because I think this window is going to be really important. But it's not my job to do. This is what happens if we make Europa League. This is what happens if we make Champions League. So I'm going to wait to find out. And then when I know, I'll decide what I want to do. Because I think we're going to see some weird stuff around the Club World Cup too, and like who comes back early and who comes in ahead of that. Like it sounds like Chelsea want to do a lot of deals ahead of the Club World Cup. So we'll see. If Chelsea and Strasbourg make Champions League, things get messy. Yeah, that's definitely true. I think. So I said like it was very unlikely because Strasbourg wouldn't beat PSG. It's technically possible still. And they play Angers, who are bad, who are just above the drop, and then I think they play Le Havre the final day. Yeah, they play Le Havre the final day, who are in the relegation zone and like struggling to get out of it. So like there's a pretty reasonable world that they finish with 63 points and they sneak in. But I think more likely is they will come fifth. I think is more likely to me. So it'll be fine, I think. But if they do come forth, like it does make the loans weird. Also, I think technically, I don't know if this is true because they're like everybody's saying that basically what happens is if Chelsea and Strasbourg are in the same European competition, the ownership have to like step back basically and say, okay, there's nobody who knows what's going on at both clubs. And in terms of related party transactions, it's you can't do anything nefarious. It has to be at fair market value. So like Chelsea could not loan Kendry Pais to Strasbourg for free. Like this is the thing that is like really in the weeds is, are Chelsea still allowed loan them to Strasbourg if Strasbourg pay their wages? And like maybe that's a non-starter. Maybe Strasbourg don't have the money to do that. But I think there's a world where Chelsea could do some of the loans. Let's see, UEFA coefficient. Are France second? No, not. They're not even close. They're fifth. So yeah, even if they win, they have nothing. It'll be Italy or Spain. If Inter win, it'll be them. If Barca win, it'll be Spain. Actually, who makes the final alone will. And I guess if Betis win Conference League, that could do it. Or Bilbao wins Europa League. It'll probably be Spain just because they have more teams left. And because Betis are going to beat Fiorentina, I think. So, but no, there's no world where fifth gets Champions League in France. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if those happen. But I do think like it would be very advantageous if Strasbourg only made Europa League. That would be very nice. What are my thoughts on Rossini? I think he's done a really good job. I think he's a good coach. I'm glad that he has extended his contract with Strasbourg. I bet you he gets a Premier League job sooner than later, though. I would be very surprised if he's at Strasbourg past next season, because he seems like a very good coach, and he'll get a Premier League job for sure. Do I like Jorel Hato? Seen some links, different profile to Cucurella. I'm not. I haven't watched him like extensively, like the odd Ajax game, and like seen him in Football Manager. He's played a lot for a 19-year-old, which is usually a pretty good thing. But like the Eredivisie is garbage. Like it is so bad, and so I'm kind of like, okay, you play for one of the best teams in the Eredivisie, great. I don't really feel very strongly. So I also like wouldn't be itching to buy a left back. I think you have like pretty reasonable depth at that spot with Ish and with Cucurella, and then you have a bunch of center backs who like Levi and Badiashile can play left back. Like it's not. I think it's fine. What am I going to do about Reece? Is there a world where he moves to right center back role with Caicedo right back? I think that's not likely. I think what's more likely is he plays right back to right center back and doesn't invert. And Colwill goes left center back, like goes left center back to left center back of the three when they get the right center back on the ball they want, whether that's Huijsen or whoever. That I think is much more likely. And then you can still play Lavia and Caicedo as a pair, but you have to play Enzo as the 10 and Palmer plays as the winger, which I think is like a thing that will definitely happen. Like, I think there's a lot of worlds where this is Chelsea's team for a bunch of games. Is like you get Tenzo back and it's whatever, say it's Chaloba. And it's like this is your team, and Cucurella ends up here again. I think that'll happen. I think that'll happen pretty frequently as a thing. Yeah, I think that's the one that I think you'll see. I also wonder if there's a world where you see Caicedo play a little bit higher. Like that's what Maresca did with Ndidi. Is he put him higher to do the press? I feel like having just one fullback overlapping can solve so many issues. I totally agree. Like, I would love to do this. I'd love to do this. I'd be so happy with this. It'd be sick. Like, but Madueke is like probably not the guy to do that. But like, you could do that with Sancho really comfortably, and it would be fine. I don't know. Maybe Chilwell stays. I don't know. I don't think so, but that would be how I do it. Wanted to ask about Achimpong in midfield. Achimpong's a footballer, man. I think one of the reasons that I like this in particular is it opens a lot of Achimpong right center back into 3 minutes from right back. I think Achimpong, like, I think it has to be. So Achimpong's going to play like 600, 700 minutes this year. Terry George is going to play. The other actually, so like Roshan brings this out. You could also play them this way and get there for that. Like Palmer plays as the left winger and then comes inside. That is like totally a thing that could happen. Achimpong is going to play like 700 minutes this year, 600 minutes this year, and Terry George is going to play like 800-900. To me, a real priority for next year is like, okay, these guys are clearly good enough to play. But if you make Champions League, it's going to be pretty hard for you to find them 1,000 minutes. Like you really need to go out of your way to find it. You really need to go out of your way to find it. So we'll see. I think like I would probably be pretty eager to loan Tyree George somewhere he's going to get 2,500 minutes. And ironically, like I would love to send him to Belgium or to Netherlands, really. Yeah, that would be one I'd like a lot. I was looking at our loans. Remember we on Caleb Wiley? Yeah, like what an insane signing. He's not that good, and they way overpaid for him. Yeah, there's a lot of players like that. They still own Gaga Slonina. who literally doesn't have a club right now. And he's too old to play for the 21s. So he's just training at Cobham with a broken finger or something. Okay. Let's get your questions in. I'm only going to stream for an hour because my knee's getting kind of sore sitting here like this. Jeremy Dern. Will be incredibly frustrating if Chalobah's shown the door again this summer. Yeah, I think he's been good enough. Like, you should just totally not sell him. I think it would be insane to sell him. I would very much move Tosin. I think Tosin is like a positive person in the dressing room. I've heard from a lot of people that like he has been very good about mentoring Josh and like the younger guys, like very professional, very mature young man. But like he's just not that good. Like I would, if you can get 18 million or 20 million from West Ham for him, I would sell him for sure. 100%, I would sell him, and I would keep Chalobah. To me, the regardless of Europa League or Champions League, I think the defender business is actually very easy. I think you sell, Disasi and Tosin, and you keep Badiashile, Colwill, Chalobah, Fofana, and a right-footed center back, and Josh. Any thoughts on Malik Fofana? Nope. Wanted to know your thoughts on Maresca. Say by chance we bottled Champions League qualification, would I still be in for keeping him? It's kind of a moot point because he's not getting fired. Like he's just not. It's not happening. He's not going to get fired. In what I would do, in a world where like the sporting directors didn't exist, if he didn't make the Champions League, I would probably move on. But I think there's no world he gets fired, especially not now. Like because he's going to beat the points total from last year. He's probably going to win the Conference League, and they're going to be like, "See, progress." Was Gusto annoying today? He was fine. He was like his usual self. I would consider moving Gusto if the right offer came in and have Josh play all of his minutes. I would seriously think about it. But it would have to be a pretty good offer. Like it would have to be like 30 plus million, I think, to do, which I don't know if there's a market for him there for that. What else we want to talk about? I think the thing with Maresca, right, like is ultimately when you look at the year-over-year stuff, like the team is legit better. Like the defensive stuff is significantly improved. The attack, which was quite good last year, is about the same. The shot volume is up. The shot volume against is down. There's more field tilt. Like it is broadly pretty clear improvement. Who wins the upcoming keeper war? This is another thing that I would not do differently depending on Champions League or Europa League. I would try and sell Philip Jorgensen, or at least get a loan where he's going to play a bunch. I would send Mike Penders to Strasbourg, and I would keep Sanchez and Petrovic as my two goalkeepers for next season. That would be how I would approach it. And I would use them situationally. I would use Sanchez for teams that are going to cross a lot and play a lot of direct balls. And I would play Petrovic against teams that we expect to have most of the ball. That would be how I, not because I think Petrovic is so much better than Sanchez with his feet, but I think Petrovic is much better defending in transition as a goalkeeper than Bob is. But Bob is a very good cross taker, whereas Petrovic I think is like better shot stopper, a little bit smarter sweeper, those sorts of things. I'm not excited by the Huijsen links. He looks small. Isn't he like very tall? Like 6'4"? I think he's skinny. He doesn't have his height. No, he's very tall. But he's the thing with Huijsen, I don't mind him. I don't mind him purely as a player. the thing with Huijsen that I look at is like, do I think there's value? So like, to me, transfers vaguely fall into two buckets. One, this player is so good as to improve our team that I don't care about the value, or it has to be good value. Like, those are the two things that I look at. And so like, if we were to go get Van Dijk when Van Dijk left Southampton, I'm like, yeah, it's not value because you're paying like full price for a very good player, but he's in a position of need and he makes you better. Same with like the Alisson deal. And same like if Chelsea went and got Osimhen this summer and they pay 50 million and they pay him like the full 280 grand a week or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm cool with that. Because it's like he makes us better right now. But I look at Huijsen and I'm like, he's good. He is legit good. But I think he's like, maybe he's not good enough that I'm like, yeah, I'm super eager to pay him 50 million and a bunch of money. You know what I mean? But I think he's legit good. Also, like, people are like, oh, he's not good in the air. I have no idea what those people are talking about. He's very good in the air. He gets his head on every set piece. So, yeah, that I think is a weird thing. No, I quite like Huijsen. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's the deal. What else we got in here? Have I seen the latest on Luis Campos? Do you think there's a reality where he joins us, or do I think the sporting director's untouchable? I think the sporting directors are not untouchable. Like, if Chelsea missed Champions League this year, I think they would have to make Champions League next year, or they would be done. But I think they're pretty stable. Bob's been good recently. Have no idea what I think. Not to go full sub C. Blah 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 blah. We already said that one. Is ending this season playing badly against United curse in the longer standing St. James Park? Maybe. We should pay the penalty for canceling the Sancho obligation, right? We should do it just to mess up United's finances. Yeah, I think we should not take the Sancho obligation. I would not do that deal. I think he's been fine, but I think like he makes a lot of money. Like, I would not be eager to do that deal. Bad Rabbits says Sterling. Oh, in relation to like good value. No, but Sterling was 29 and like had already clearly shown signs of physical decline, and it was way too much money. Like Van Dijk to Liverpool, he was like 26. Like it was very much not the same. Is buying 18-year-olds with no evidence of their durability in men's football an unacknowledged flaw? How do we project durability? No data is no minutes. It's very hard. Projecting out young players is so difficult, because it is like, you're right, you have no data, you have no minutes. Like, it's hard to say. I think part of the strategy, the overarching strategy, is that they're going to buy so many of them, they're going to roll the dice so many times that it's not going to matter. Like, enough of the times they're going to work out. I was talking to someone who was like an MLS director of recruitment, and they used to work in Europe for they've most recently were at a Champions League team. And we were talking about like, actually, I guess I can just say this because it was in a podcast that's public. I was talking to Nikos Overhool, who used to work for Brentford and Midtjylland and Vancouver Whitecaps, who are very good in MLS right now. And we were talking about how in MLS there's like weird rules about how you buy young players. They have to fill like a specific roster designation. It's kind of, we don't need to talk about it here. But the point he made was like, for that kind of player in Europe, you would just buy 12 of them. Because like, yeah, if you buy one, maybe you got it wrong. But if you buy 12, you're going to get enough of them right that it will come out net positive. And so I think the plan with like buying Pais and Estevao and maybe Mastantuono and all these other guys and what's his name, Satpayev or whatever, the Kazaki kid, like, you're just buying dice rolls and you hope that you're picking the right dice. But I do think that like they have see a thing like I do feel like we have to acknowledge is that vaguely the injury problems have been way less this year. Like Maresca has kept guys on the pitch way more. Um, like Lavia missed most of the first half of the season. He's still gonna play way more than last year. Fofana has missed a bunch of time, still gonna play more than last year. Nkunku has largely been fit the whole year. They've banished him from the squad, and the team keeps winning, which is pretty funny. It's like get rid. I That's another one. Champions League or Europa League. I don't care. Get rid of Nkunku. I don't want him here. Um, and like I think that is like a real thing. And like vaguely, I think most of the kids, like guys like Amugu, I did not get at all. But like, and some of them like the fees are brutal. Like Giovanni Kenda or whatever, that fee is insane. But like most of these kids are pretty good. Like if you were asking people like, oh hey, like give me your top 5 like U18 wingers in the world, like Pais and Estevao and Kenda would probably all be on the list. So like it is what it is. Lavia, Fafana, and James are the only ones you have to manage their injury, and like all three of those guys are going to play more than they did last year. So we'll see. We'll see. But James, you know what? James has been like pretty regularly playing. Like I'm happy with how his season has gone personally. What happens with Andre in the whole midfield next year? No, I think he stays. I don't know why I said no. I was reading the next question was, do I think Chelsea should keep Sancho? And said no. No, I think Andre's going to play. He's going to stay, and I don't think he'll be a starter, but I think he'll play. Will Southwell thinks a guy that figures out how to project durability with some sort of non-minutes based data is going to be very rich. Yeah, like actually, Chelsea did. I don't know if you guys all saw this. Chelsea did they did like a data project for a data visualization project for training data, for physical training data, and they did a whole bunch of like they did a contest, so like people could go find it. Like I think it was I want to see if I can find it. I want to see Chelsea training data contest. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, here it is. I want to see if I can find the actual things, and we can look at some of them because some of them are really good, and some of them were by people we know. View gallery. Cool. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so some of these were so good. I'm gonna find the one that my friend did first. But some of these were so good. Some of these were so good. Chloe Sainsbury, this one. So Chloe and Sebastian and somebody else, so I can't remember, did this one. But they did they did like their own player dashboard, and it does stuff by games, and like it was a whole, and you have all the sleep data, and there's all this stuff in there, and it was pretty good. But they ran a big data viz contest on this, which is like the idea of Chelsea doing like data anything a few years ago is like a huge L. But there's some really good ones in here. Like a couple people are definitely gonna get calls about this. But it's mostly data viz stuff. But I think like yeah, the next, so like if you talk about data, if you talk about like analytics stuff, which we love analytics around here, there's like the next, like a lot of people are talking about tracking data is the next frontier, and like I think that's a thing, but like more people are getting tracking data now. I think my personal opinion, the two next things that are going to come up in a big sense are There was another one I wanted to see that I really liked. I'm also not gonna lie, this shortlist has too many. Some of these are not that good. That's my other thing. Some of these are not that good. Oh, this was the one I couldn't open. No, yeah, see, these people suck. I think the two next frontiers of this sort of research are one, turning physical data into something predictive. So like the amount of data that is generated from their heart rate monitors and their sleep monitors and force plates and the GPS and all this stuff is huge, and very little of it is actionable. Like even the stuff like, oh, he's in the red zone. Like we have no idea what that means. We are not very good at predicting injuries still. It's not good. Like the state of turning physical data into like actionable stuff is very poor. And it's like a big like snake oil salesman field. Like people sell this stuff and they're like, yeah, you can predict ACL injuries. Javi Fernandez, who is Chelsea's director of data science now, or whatever his title is, one of his studies when he worked for Barcelona was making an AI model to take all this physical info in and predict injuries. And apparently it was like much better. It was much better at both predicting injuries and also having fewer false positives, which is a big problem with injury prediction stuff, is that like it flags players up that are like, this guy's going to get injured, but they're not going to get injured. And then they don't. And now you're like, oh, this model sucks because it says everybody's going to get injured all the time. So that I haven't seen behind it, but I don't know. You have to build up the database to be able to use it for predictive ways. Yeah, but this data is like GPS stuff is not new. Like teams have had this for 10 years. So like you think about hundreds of clubs and 10 years of player seasons, and it's like, I don't know. My feel from what I've seen of it is it's very snake oily. The other big analytics frontier to me is like league translation. Is like, can you have a much better sense of, I buy player A from this team in this league and they move to team B in that league. What does their performance look like? Those I think are the two. Anyways, we're at an hour 8. I'm going to wrap it up here because my knee hurts and I want to go lie down. So great dub. Great dub. Really huge. Really huge win. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We will absolutely see what happens. But today was a big step. And hopefully we can take another step. And hopefully Forrest, maybe Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace can do something for me on Monday. But we're going to wrap it up here. So as always, my friends, enjoy the soccer.